What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review. This is going to be a review of the season 2 of Rurouni Kenshin, the Kyoto Disturbance arc. And with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah. This is going to be the adaptation of the Kyoto arc, in which they've been building up to this since season one. The end of season one, with the Kenshin being told that one of the the major killers, like, what was it, Shishio, is being involved in what's going on in Kyoto. So he pretty much, like, by the end of the episode, he goes off on his own to Kyoto alone, fearing that a lot of his friends will be caught in the crossfire. So he pretty much leaves everybody else, which, of course, this kind of angers Sanosuke in particular, because he doesn't want Kenshin to go off on his own, to, I don't know, potentially risking getting himself hurt. But not only that, but he's going to end up hurting Kaoru as well, which, of course, she's kind of being she was ever since the events of the last season, she kind of got herself into a depressed state since Kenshin's departure.
Yeah, we see how Kenshin's departure has affected all of his friends, and particularly how I guess it's affected Kaoru, because she's just been, I guess, just lying in bed depressed ever since then. And Also, like, what was it? Sagara. He's trying to. He's basically, after he finds out that Kenshin has left for Kyoto, he decides that he's going to go and follow him. Which he's then, like, I guess I forget what his name was. It's
what was it?
Saito. Yeah, Saito tries to basically, like, challenge him to test if he's capable enough to follow Kenshin into Kyoto. And obviously, like, he kind of ends up overpowering him, but Sagara also, just, I guess, by sheer will, it eventually, like, lands, I guess, kind of lands some hits on him, so that, basically he decides to just kind of leave him alone, and I guess let him do what he wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, like, Sagara had enough willpower to at least injure Saito enough.
I thought he had broken both of his arms at some point, so I didn't even think he'd be able to use his fists. But I guess he just injured his shoulders.
Yeah, I don't even know how Saito made Sagara bleed, like by literally punching him under the armpit area.
Well, he did that, and then it looked like he suplexed him or something.
Yeah, he did, but yeah, eventually, like, he was able to overcome this, and soon after this, Sakura ends up leaving for Kyoto anyway. And then, of course, the second half of the episode, we see Megumi again, and she finds out that Kaoru, is in a depressed state, pretty much, like, not having to eat anything for at least a couple days since Kenshin's departure. So Megumi decides to confront her about this, and then pretty much, like, tell her, like, all of her personal struggles of, like, her being forced into
the opium production,
making the drug. Yeah, being involved in the opium production, and then instead of like moping around like Kaoru is, she decides to go out to make amends by helping other people at the clinic. So this pretty much convinces Kaoru to get herself back up and to try to go off into Kyoto as well, to try to help out Kenshin later.
Yeah, Kenshin is really, like, barely in this episode. It mostly just focuses on, I guess, all the people that Kenshin left behind, that they now want to go after Kenshin and follow him to Kyoto.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Overall, it was a very brief, but it also, like, is a good, somewhat of a good start of, like, where the arc gets headed.
Yeah,
especially where Kenshin's friends are going to be doing for this particular arc. I mean, obviously, like, not all good is going to come from them traveling to Kyoto. I mean, I mean, if people have watched the Kyoto arc movies, it kind of goes sideways once they meet up with Kenshin again.
Yeah, so I guess like most of this arc, they'll probably be just trying to catch up to him or something, and maybe not really meeting up with him yet. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, Kenshin is gonna end up encountering a lot of Shishio's,
yeah,
subordinates in this
yeah. Of
arc.
course, we haven't really gotten, I guess, their dramatic reveal of Shishio yet. I guess they're saving that for maybe next episode or the episode after that. Um,
I would say a little bit later, down in the
okay.
season. I mean,
Because
we already
yeah,
seen
I'm
like
mostly going
one
off
of.
of like what happened because I haven't seen that much of the original series. I haven't seen the live action movies, and I know like they reveal him, like I guess in the arc, when the movies cover this arc, they kind of like immediately reveal him. So
Yeah, well, the movies were kind of like somewhat of like a condensed
yeah,
version of the arc. But yeah, it's overall it does somewhat play out the same way, with with some of the characters being involved in the storyline. But I guess like if I remember correctly, I think one of the other major characters that Kenshin ends up running into is Seito Sojiro, which he I'm not gonna real too much, but yeah, he is gonna be one of the other major characters that Kenshin's gonna end up fighting
yeah.
later.
But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty decent episode. It felt like it went by pretty quick, and it really just focused on, like I said, all the side characters and not really Kenshin himself. But I mean, it seems like it's just kind of setting up for this particular arc. But I thought it was like I said, pretty decent. It catches us up with what they've been up to after the events of season one, and how they feel about having Kenshin having left the way he did. And that's pretty much the entirety of this episode. I mean, yeah, of course, we have a new opening, which I think was pretty good. I think both of the new openings and endings are actually decent. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say about it. It doesn't really seem like, I'm guessing, I guess we'll have to maybe wait till we get to the fight scenes, but it does seem like it's pretty, I guess, consistent with season one's art style and animation. It doesn't really seem like much has changed there. But I guess we'll have to see. Like I said, we'll see when they get to, I guess, the bigger fight scenes, like how they handle that. I thought for the most part, like season one looked decent. Aside from maybe like some points where I guess maybe it could have looked a little bit better. But yeah, I didn't really have too many issues with it. But yeah, I'm just kind of hoping that maybe it
Yeah,
does get a little bit better throughout the series. Especially since Leading Films is kind of, I guess, like a smaller animation studio. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it, though. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
yeah. Of course, this alongside the first season, that it's gonna be at least two
Yeah.
cores, and I'm pretty sure like this entire season is mainly gonna be focused on the Kyoto arc because it's if I remember correctly, it was a pretty decently long story arc,
Yeah, and
which
and
is
that was one of the things that we, I guess, had some complaints about in the season one, was that it kind of focused on a lot of like smaller story arcs. So I mean, this one I guess is just going to be the Kyoto arc. So I think it's going to be a lot better off for that, just because it has just one story arc it's focused on, instead of like kind of going into like various different story arcs, I guess, like it did in season one.
Yeah, season one was mainly just an
Yeah.
introductory story arc, focusing a lot of our main characters. But for this one, with how big in scale this storyline is, especially with Kenshin going up against Shishio, who's like one of the first major antagonists of the series itself. So it's gonna be like a long drawn out story, probably going up until the end of season two.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. But that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.